will allow a detour sometimes just to see where your light really is. Sometimes he'll allow a detour to see how lit you really are. See, our series theme is stay lit. Somebody say stay lit, stay lit, stay lit. But see, sometimes when things are happening all around you and you want the flame to keep on being bright, all of a sudden it comes to shut it out. And then there's a detour. How many of y'all have been driving before? Then all of a sudden there's a detour, and when you turn in the detour, it seems like all lights go out. But what you understand about the detour is that someone has planned for you to go in a different direction that still is going to put you at your place of assignment. Who am I talking to today? I'm talking to all the drivers out there who know that all of a sudden, sometimes on your road of detour, you begin to wonder if you're ever going to get back to the place that you knew you were headed for. You begin to wonder if it's ever going to come back, if the light that you used to see on the main road, if it's ever going to come back, because they take you down some scary streets when you're on a detour. Who am I talking to? Oh my goodness, I'm like, oh Father, is this where we're going? Where are we going? Hallelujah. So you got to remember that on this fight and down this road of prophecy, number one, you will always experience a diabolical tour that interrupts your faith, your family, your finances. But number two, in the midst of your diabolical detour, you got to hold on to your prophetic dreams. Imagine Joseph, 17. He's out in the field because his dad has sent him to go look for his brothers and to see what's up with them. But where he ends up is where his brothers have abandoned the field. So he's walking around looking for his brothers, and somebody else says, hey, who you looking for? And he tells them that he's looking for his brothers, and they say, oh no, they went over here. So he went to go find his brothers and recognized that because he did find them, it was the worst mistake of his life. It seemed like it was the worst mistake of his life, even though he was listening to the voice of his father. His father had sent him on an assignment. And in the midst of the assignment, when he was obeying the voice of his father, all of a sudden there seemed to be an interception that, guess what, got him off to what appeared to be a diabolical detour in the midst of just obeying his father's voice. Who am I talking to today? And so in the midst of obeying his father's voice, I can just imagine that after they threw him in a hole and in a pit, that he had to begin to remember the prophetic dream that he had. That even though I'm at my lowest point, I've got to understand that God is still called and assigned me to be very high. I've got to understand that even at my lowest point, God is still going to do something great and grand with me. The question is, can I still be lit? Because see, it's in your darkest place and in your darkest point that you got to find your own light. Somebody say stay lit. Stay lit. What does that really look like? What does that really mean? That means when all else fails and I'm in a cave of darkness, can I still see the light for myself? Because in the midst of your diabolical detour, you got to hold on to the light of your prophetic dream. Somebody say, keep dreaming, keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. You got to keep the dream alive. Somebody say, I've got to keep the dream alive. Because it's the dream on the inside that God has released to you, whether it comes through you in a prophetic dreams or through a prophet or a person through their prophetic voice. It's that dream that's going to keep on reigniting the flame of your future. Are you hearing me? It's understanding and coming into agreement with that dream that's going to do something that's never been done in your life. And so number 3, in the midst of your diabolical detour, you've got to recognize that the detour is still divine. realized that if I started off on this course listening to my Father and I obeyed my Father along the way, even when I began to have to go to a place that I never understood, even when I began to go to a place that He never showed me in my dreams, God, oh my goodness, you've got to begin to understand that somehow, some way, this diabolical detour is still divine. See, you've got to begin to understand that providence, guess what, is still encompassed all around me, because providence means that my God can still care for me even when it doesn't look like I can care for myself, because He's making sure that on the other side of this diabolical detour is my destiny. On the other side of this diabolical detour is what He assigned me to. On the other side of this diabolical pit that I find myself in, I'm about to rise to the top, and I'm about to be all that He has called and assigned me to be, because I've listened to the voice of my Father along the way. Somebody say, stay lit. Hey, Ramashekoroboshta. So in the midst of your diabolical detour, you've got to recognize that it's still divine. Oh my goodness, you've got to recognize that even when you're all alone and you begin to pray, that there's still a voice that you can hear, and that there's still someone divine who's listening to your voice, even when you can't see your way, and even when it doesn't look like you're about to make it to the right point. Know that it's still divine. And number 4, you've got to understand that your prophetic dreams or your prophecies will always light the way. See, you can't take the voice of God for granted. You cannot take the dreams that He releases to you for granted, because that's a way that He communicates to you. If you have a dream that plans out your future, and if you begin to pay attention, you've got to understand that He's given you a dream for a reason. And one of the reasons He's given you this prophetic dream is that when you're at your lowest point, you can still look to your dream, and you can still look to your prophecy for light. I don't care how depressed you are. I don't care how crazy your family life is. I don't care how much you can't fall asleep. What I'm telling you is that if God has given you a prophetic dream, if you can just close your eyes and begin to remember. If you can just close your eyes and begin to remember the dreams that He released over you even years ago, where He showed you who you would be and what you would attain. If you can just close your eyes and remember, I'm telling you that your dreams and your prophecies will always light your way. That's why it's so important for you when you have a dream to write your dream down. So many people say, oh my goodness, I don't have to write it down because I'm going to remember it. But what about when you're at your lowest point and you don't want to have to remember? What about when you're at your lowest point and you can't even seem to put sentences together, but all you can do is begin to look at your journal and see the dreams and see the stuff that He said about you and what He released to you? That's why it's so important that you document your dreams and you document your prophecies, because somewhere along the way, when you can't prophesy to yourself, when no one notices your name and nobody begins to prophesy to you, you've got to begin to look and remember the prophetic dreams and the prophecies that have been released over your life, because that is what's going to lead you back to the light. Amen. Somebody say, stay lit. Stay lit. Stay lit. No, turn to your neighbor and say, look, say, stay lit, stay lit. And I'm not talking about lit on marijuana. I'm not talking about lit on alcohol. I'm not talking about lit on drugs and cocaine and heroin. No, I'm talking about And how do I stay lit? Why do I stay lit? Because see, I've got to understand, number 5, you've got to understand that your prophetic detour is ultimately allowed by God. I might have to pass the mic to the front row over here. So, see, your prophetic detour, no matter how diabolical it is, no matter how mad you get at someone else because they are the ones who it feels like got you off course, what you've got to understand is that ultimately God allowed it. Ultimately, God allowed it. We need to simmer on that for a little while. Because see, so many people are mad at people who let them go. So many people are mad at people who abandoned them. So many people are mad and fed up with people who betrayed them, people who called them everything but a child of God. Who am I talking to today? So many people get disgruntled and mad because along the way of what was supposed to manifest, all of a sudden something gets shut down and they don't seem to be able to manifest anymore because someone said you can't do this. Someone said you're not going to do this. Someone said I don't want you anymore. Someone said I need to kick you out of this place. But God says your prophetic detour is ultimately allowed by me. Ramashek. Somebody say stay lit, stay lit. See, and you gotta, every time that you begin to visualize that person, you gotta say it's not you. Because see, they get prideful when they think that it is them. So sometimes you gotta throw people off and be like, I don't even know what you did. What? Oh no, I did this because God told me to. What? I'm over here because God told me to. What? I'm fired because I created my own place. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Let me tell you about, see, I got fired from a news job because what? I created my own company. So you were supposed to fire me. Because truth be told, I couldn't even work the job anymore because my phone was going off so much. So you had to fire me. And when you had to fire me, guess what? You had to give me a severance. You had to give me some money so I could take care of my family. You had to do this thing. Because it wasn't about you. And it wasn't you, but it was about my providence. Oh my goodness, it was about the prophetic destiny that was over my life. So I had to understand, I had to believe that even though I was fired, oh my goodness, in 2000, oh my goodness, I understand that it was about my destiny because God allowed it. Hey! Somebody say stay lit.